Hey everyone, NicMakesPlays here. Today I'm going over a deck that's been rising in popularity. It's a Darius, Draven, Targon, Noxus aggro deck. And a lot of people consider me, I guess, like an aggro player, one of the best aggro players, one of the main aggro players of the game. I don't know. I try to stray away from that and play other decks, but can only stay for too long, and I feel like this deck actually caught me off guard. I've tried it in the past when it started becoming popular and people were ranking crowd favorite, House Spire, and stuff like that. And it wasn't really working with the traditional build I saw people play on ladder or against me. So then I decided I would actually just make my own version. It's more of an old school version, and I've been doing extremely good with it. Like, I tested it last night, and I must have went like 5-1 or 6-1, which, not that many games. But then I went all out today with it, and overall my win rate has been extremely high with this deck, so I thought I'd share it. But this version, yeah, it's a very old school, traditional kind of aggro deck, but it's still effective, and it shows that the aggro style I enjoy is still viable to this day, but let's get right into it. Alright. So, first things first, kind of scan over so you guys can see if you want. First things first, I like having 9 1-drops in aggro and traditional aggro if you can support that. It makes it a very consistent deck to open the aggro pressure from the beginning. If you skip your turn 1, you're kind of losing a lot of your deck's strength, which is to close games out before like turn 7. And I feel like if you only run 6, it's like they have so much more leeway and more time to get away. Like your whole deck loses effectiveness if you run less than 9 in this style of aggro, just because like if you're passing a turn, Brothers Bond, or let's say like Demolitionist, like all your aggro isn't as effective because I have more life from the beginning. But anyways, I like 9 1-drops. I'm running 3 Legion Saboteur, 3 Precious Pet, 3 Slayer Soldier. This is ran as just a 3/3 offensive unit. It's really good. 3 Brothers Bond. So this deck is very combat focused. I think this deck still has room to be refined with like Fervor, Decimate, but for consistency's sake of the deck, I try to make it pretty combat focused. This card's essentially a Decimate for 2 mana if it works out, because you grant 2 allies +2/+0. It's a permanent buff, and it could deal 4 damage for 2 if you get all this to be direct hits. It's versatile to where, like, let's say you're attacking with 3 units and they only have 2 blockers, but one of their blockers, let's say you're attacking Precious Pet and they block them with 3 defense, you can put one of the Brothers Bond buffs on the Precious Pet to win that trade, and then 1 on the guy attacking directly. So you do 2 damage and you win a trade to keep field control. So Brothers Bond's really good. I really enjoyed it in Spider Aggro in the past, which is one of my favorite decks of all time. So I like Brothers Bond a lot. Next is Crimson Disciple. Card hasn't really seen play that much since it was nerfed, but I was looking for 2-drops. So a big thing in my list is that I wanted to use Basilisk Rider, because if you look at the 4-drops for aggro in this style, Noxus doesn't really have any good ones except for Crowd Favorite. But Crowd Favorite, a lot of things can go wrong, and he's pretty committal. I feel like he's extremely good at House Spider. That's the version I played in the past, but it wasn't really feeling that reliable. And I just thought I wanted Basilisk Rider as a solid 4-drop with Overwhelm for this deck. So I tried to make it you have to have allegiance. So I guess real quick, Basilisk Rider, you need allegiance for Noxus, grant me +1/+1 and Overwhelm. So I didn't want to have more than 6 Targon cards, which made it very awkward, considering a lot of the good 2-drops this deck are all from Targon. We have, well, House Spider's good, but I didn't play this build because I don't have Crowd Favorite. It still could be good, but we'll go over it later. But Mountain Goat's really good, Slayer Shield Bearer is really good. I know this traditional version of this deck I think runs both, or either or, usually Mountain Goat. Solid Stomper can be cool, but these are all Targon cards. So I decided to go with the Noxus Alien Shot for Basilisk Rider, and I had to have a 2-drop, and there wasn't really any. So I played Crimson Disciple. Still good though. When I start damage to 1 to the enemy Nexus, it's just a 2/3 that can get the 1 extra damage in, which is nice. And then, of course, with the Pure Demolitionist, the combo, deal 1 to the ally, deal 2 to the enemy Nexus. If you use that with Crimson Disciple, it triggers back to do 1 more. It's a 3 damage in total. This used to deal 2 to the enemy Nexus. I got nerfed, and since then it hasn't seen too much play, but I think it's still good. Still a solid 3 damage. I like it. So yeah, it's for I'm basically playing it for the Legions. But yeah, Crimson Disciple, Pure Abolitionist, 3 Legion Grenadier, pretty straightforward. Last Breath, deal 1 to the enemy Nexus, 3/2 2-drop, very good. 3 Pale Cascades. This is the other card. This and Slayer Soldier, the 2 Targon cards. Not like a hard commit to Targon. It's not like you're like really using a lot of Targon cards, but I feel that they're both generically good. Slayer Soldier is probably the best 1-drop in the game, or one of them. Be able to push 3 turn 1 and just have beefy stats. Having extra health helps a lot, because it allows you to play through things like Go Hard and Withering Wail, and also having a 2/2 lets you go Slayer Soldier on 1, Pale Demolitionist on turn 2, if that's what you draw. It's similar to like how Jagged Butcher and I guess Crusty Cadre are good in the Build What Aggro as well. Having extra health is important. But yeah, Pale Cascade, generically good, +2/+1. It's basically, aggro decks can run out of steam pretty fast. They don't really have ways to generate mana or draw So this is nice that it's a battle trick that lets you do more damage and draw 1. Drawing 1 refuels your stuff, like your hand. +1 lets you play through spells, especially cards that have decent defense. A lot of my units have 3 defense, like Draven and Bassus Rider has 4 if he gets overwhelmed. But Iron Ballista, pretty common. Let's say you have a 4/3 here and you attack and they like get excited or block it, with a 3 defense creature or a 3 attack creature or whatever. Then you just use Pale Cascade and it stays alive and pushes for even more damage and you draw a card. So it's just pretty good. All right, 3 Transfusion works well with Crimson Disciple because you can, ping it to do the 1 damage, deal 1 to an ally, give another +2/+2. You ping it, just 1 damage to semi-nexus, and then you get +2/+2. Versatile combat trick, it can dodge a lot of things like lifesteal, like if you attack with like Legion Saboteur, or they grasp Legion Saboteur. This is very niche, but then you can, or Vile Feast and stuff like that, you can use the Transfusion on it, get rid of it so they don't get the drain, and then you give it to something else. I think Transfusion's really good. This version of the deck, I try to go very, very combat-oriented. I want to be consistent. I'll go over cards Noxus for every decimated after I go through the rest of the cards and explain why I chose this route. But yeah, Transfusion will make more sense when I explain why I chose this route. 3 Draven, extremely good, extremely powerful. Playing Draven on 3 is amazing. This card is just such a good champion. I don't say it's subjective one of the best champions in the game. I don't know what that means, but he's definitely like top 20, top 15 champion, maybe even better. Anyways, yeah, if you're attacking on 1, like you're attacking on odd numbers, and you play him on turn 3, they pretty much have to take the damage. It's a good guaranteed 3 damage, because if they don't, they're losing board control. Like, let's say you play Draven, and then like they have a 2/3 or something, and if they block it, then you have board control. You can just next turn you have even bigger attacks. They have less blockers, so pretty much have to take 3 damage. The spin action can be used to trigger Nightfall for Pale Cascade. I mean, if you attack with him twice, then he gives you 2 axes, which is just you can discard an axe. You can discard the other axe for an axe and get a 3 extra damage in. Pretty versatile overall to have the axes and make you win combat trades, and pretty easy to level up. This card's actually really easy to level up. People don't talk about it enough. People are like, oh, I never see Draven level up. He's actually extremely easy to level up, which is usually would rather use axes for other things. Even in decks like discard aggro, like Jinx Draven, usually want to discard the axes for like rummage and stuff like that. Or like, use them to discard Jury Rig. But all you have to do to level them up is attack once, you get the axe, right? Then next time you attack, you can, if you have this chance spell, Draven's Whirlwind, so you have to draw double Draven. You just put the axe on him, Draven's Whirlwind something, it strikes with the Draven's Whirlwind, that's 1 out of 2. Then he does this normal attack, he's going to do that turn, it's 2 out of 2. It's easy level up, giving him Overwhelm, which is good in this deck. Yeah, 3 Iron Ballista, 4/3 Overwhelm, pretty straightforward. That's how the 3 dab, it's good. Next is Bassus Rider. Card's played a bit less, so this was played a lot with the Darius Harrowing, not meta because it wasn't. I mean, there's a few decks in that meta, but hit rank 1 with the Darius Harrowing deck when this card used to have 1 more attack. Really good still though. It's a 4 mana 5/4 with Overwhelm when it's Allegiance, which is what we're trying to do with only 6 Tauren cards. Yeah, extremely good. I just think I like the consistency. 5/4 is pretty good stats. 4 defense is hefty on turn 4, and it just keeps up the pressure with the Overwhelm. Next is Darius. This is like this is my favorite champion in the game, and maybe my favorite card in the whole game. But this card has been underrated for so long. I think that Darius has been a key to a lot of the best aggro decks in the game. Basically a 6 mana 6/5, but when they're under 10 health, he levels up, which is pretty much every time you're at turn 6, ideally. Becomes a 10/6 with Overwhelm. This damage output is pretty insane. Not really any other card has this kind of damage output, and it pushes through a lot of things, especially in aggro mirrors. If you're playing an aggro mirror, Darius should win so easily. Let's say you're playing against Draven Jinx, and you play a 10/6 with Overwhelm. They can't beat that. They're going to die. Like, their best blocker is like 3 or 4 defense, so they say level Jinx is their best, right? 5/4. I guess crowd favorite. Either way, huge damage, versus Elise aggro, versus the mirror, versus anything. He just pushes huge damage, and his spell is Decimate, which is kind of cute, kind of nice. Gives you access to the reach, but mostly just for the level up form. And it used to be a 10/5, and I thought it was really good back then. Now it's a 10/6. Got buffed a few patches ago. Very good. Last card's Captain Farron. This is a flex spot. I honestly don't know if this card even goes in this deck at all. But basically, the way I saw it was I had my 39 card deck, and I wanted some reach to win win the game outside of combat. So you could have like Noxian Fervor, or you could have Decimate. But I just thought Captain Farron was the best, considering it pushes for 12 damage instead of just the Decimate pushing 4. Yeah, it is a bit later in the game it comes out. But the reason I like this is that if you can just get them down to 12 at any point in the game, then you have a way to win the game. Otherwise, you're pretty much all or nothing. Like, yeah, I don't like the idea of feeling like I have to rely on drawing this. I'd rather just, like, have the best odds of winning before turn 8, but you won't always be able to get... it kind of makes you win unwinnable games, I guess is the way to put it. Let's say you're playing against like Swain Ezreal, right? That deck is very good against aggro, but they have no healing, okay? So you get some good pressure and you get them like, you know, down to 12 or whatever, but then they stabilize, you know, they give you all the removal spells. You're fighting, you know, tooth and nail or whatever it's called, chip and nail, I don't know what it is. Point is, you're fighting back and forth, you get into 12. If you had just one Decimate, that won't be enough. One Fervor, it's not enough. But if you have Farron, they can't heal in that deck. Swain Ezreal, there's no healing in those classes, so then you get to, not only is he an 88 with Overwhelm, you get to get the 3 Decimates. I think he's very strong in this format, so that's really good. But let me go into why I chose Transfusion and just some card choices real quick. So traditionally in aggro, you want to have, how do I put it, good early game units and do a lot of damage in the early game, and then you finish off with, like, I guess Darius, but also Noxian Fervor, deal 3 to an ally, deal 3 to anything, which is the Nexus, is what you usually want to do, and Decimate. But I thought if I cut 6 cards from the deck to add those in, like say I cut Transfusion and Brothers Bond, that kind of makes this combat-centric style worse. I feel like I like the way Brothers Bond functions with Iron Ballista, Basilisk Rider, and Darius, and I didn't really want to cut Brothers Bond or Transfusion. I think these are versatile cards, especially Transfusion's good against playing against Go Hard and all the removal spells with the Ezreal decks in this format. So I kind of went with a more combat-oriented version. I haven't really tried to the full extent a version with 3 Fervor and 3 Decimates, but I decided to go with a more combat version of this deck. I think it's more versatile and more consistent. Usually Decimate and Fervor are cards you use after you've put on a lot of damage with field control, but these spells allow you to push in damage and maintain field control. So I feel like the deck is harder to beat going this style because it's just better at keeping field control, because these spells are versatile to win combat trades as well, instead of thinking I have to win the early game and if things go wrong then these are mostly dead. But I could still try them, and I have one Farron at the end. Other cards to consider is actually a good amount, but I'll try to be fast. A big popularity in the game right now is this card, where is it? Decisive Maneuver. Stun enemy, give all allies +2/+0. So the way you use this card is actually a very strong card. I don't like it that much in this list, so I'll explain why, but I do want to note that this is kind of the roots of Targon Noxus popping up. I think they all play this, and it's very strong. So what you do is, like, you have an Overwhelm deck. They don't run Basilisk Rider, they run Crowd Favorite because they can't fit Allegiance, but you have, like, let's say you have Basilisk Rider, or Iron Ballista and Basilisk Rider. You attack, so you don't use this prematurely to stun a blocker. You attack. Then you see which one blocked the Overwhelm unit, and you stun it. Remove a unit from combat, it can't attack or block for the rest of the round. Overwhelm goes through stun units, right? So if you have, let's say you're attacking with Iron Ballista, and they block it, and then you stun it and get out of the way, then this damage all goes directly. So Decisive Maneuver makes your whole field get +2/+0. So you're making your whole attack stronger, and you're getting rid of their blocker, guaranteeing 6 damage from the Iron Ballista, because Overwhelm goes through blockers that are removed. So yeah, this card's really good. I don't like it that much this version. This isn't so much an Overwhelm deck. Like I know I run Basilisk Rider, but I think this makes more sense in like the Ancient Yeti, Freyo to Overwhelm versions, like Ruthless Raider and stuff like that. So I didn't really like it. It's hit or miss, I think. It's still a good card, though, just I don't know if I want to play this deck. I wanted more consistency. It's another reason I didn't run the Decimate and the Fervors. If you wanted to cut the Basilisk Rider for get rid of the Allegiance, just for the good 4-drop, the good consistent 4-drop, which is what I wanted, instead of Crowd Favorite being hit or miss. I think I wanted a good consistent strategy, and I think I've won pretty much almost all my games with this deck, so yeah, it's good. Other cards considered, this card could be a good burst 3 damage. It's 1 mana 3 damage it goes through. I thought about that over Captain Farron, but yeah, other cards. House Spider is still really good, even without Crowd Favorite. It's just good. It goes with Brothers Bond because it summons 2 units that if you use Brothers Bond on them, they can both become very strong. Makes go wide for Crowd Favorite. It's good. Mountain Goat's amazing. 3/2 gives you a gem. So Shield Bearer is really good in aggro. Like, people may not understand why, but basically it's you play on turn 2, say you're attacking on turn. You play on turn 2, it becomes a 3/6. If you attack with a 3/6, they can't block that. You play a 3/6, they play a 3/2, they can't block that. It basically is a guaranteed 3 damage. And later in the game, it's also good defensively to stop their aggression. So it's really versatile. This card's actually extremely strong for offense and defensive purposes. Salt Stomper, 2/3 Overwhelm is kind of cute. I like it. Crescent Guardian, if you have a way to reliably do the Nightfall, then you can get a 5/3 with Overwhelm. It's nice. Fervor gives good reach. I already have most of my units that are bigger, like have strong attack, have already have Overwhelm. Stones could be cool. Whirling Death. This is the same as the Decisive Maneuver, where you see who blocks the Overwhelm blocker, or who's blocking the Overwhelm attacker, and then you kill it. So then your damage goes through directly. So let's say you have Basilisk Rider attacking, and they block it. You just Whirling Death their blocker, and then the damage goes through directly, and you kill the blocker. So pretty good. I didn't put Kato in because I already have, again, most of my guys are overwhelmed. Yeah, I'd say that's about it. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, so we're playing against Draven Jinx, but he's playing Swim's version that runs 1 Teemo instead of, I think it's 3 Jinx, 2 Draven, 1 Teemo, I believe. We're Draven's biggest fan. So here, we're going to mulligan Transfusion. You usually want to mulligan your whole hand for units, at least that's why I play it. Because I want to curve out. I want to have the 1 drop on 1, 2 drop on 2, 3 drop on 3, and then draw into the spells later. The spells are kind of like if you miss a curve and the later the game goes on, they're nice. But I really want to have more units. So I'm going to keep the 2 1-drops here. This deck runs 9 1-drops, so what we can try and do here is have 1 drop, and then we 2 drop, and then if we have a draw another 2 drop, we can go 1 drop, 2 drop, 1 2 on 3. Basically, keeping 2 1-drops gives the option to draw another 1-drop, which would allow us to go even wider on 4. Like, instead of condensing our attacks, we'd be able to have 4 attackers instead of 3 by going turn 1, play a 1-drop, turn 2, play a 2-drop, turn 3, we play a 1-drop and a 2-drop if we draw another 2-drop. I hope that made sense. Basically, I'm trying to go wide. I'm trying to have more attackers than they have blockers here, so I'll leave my options open here to see what we draw. Interesting. It's Draven Jinx, so here I'm not really afraid of anything. You probably play Arena Battlecaster. House Spider actually is kind of annoying, but neither are the end of the world. I guess what I could do here is play Solari Soldier, because this plays better on House Spider, and it gives us getting closer to Red Mana for Pale Cascade. It is a trade-off though, because it does kind of mess up the options we were keeping open by trying to go wider than him. But he did have House Spider, so it worked out. This was the punish, so good thing I played around it. Gonna chip in 5 damage here, very good. But House Spider still should be good for him as well. This match was kind of scary. That's a good draw. Yeah, we can't really block that, unfortunately. But what we can do is play this on this. Now we're able to block his Spider or House Spider if he attacks with those. And we get the bank mana from Pale Cascade. Alright, we're going to have to take that here. No use blocking it, because then we'll just lose the field control we have, or at least the battle for field control. We'll pretty much lose from there. Next turn's nice. We can go Solari Soldier into Ballista to Pale Cascade. Alright, nothing changes here. Drawing Draven would have been very good, because then he'd be forced to like use a Spider to block Draven. Alright. So attack with everything here. If he blocks a Draven, we can just kill a Pale Cascade and draw a card. We have to go wider than him, which means we guarantee some damage in here, unless he has Draven's Whirlwind. And limiting his field's extremely strong because it makes his crowd favorite awkward. This deck likes wide boards, again, 4 Radiant Battlecaster's effect, give other battling allies ++0, all kinds of stuff like that. I like Vision. Okay, that's really good, actually. It's a free block for this. Oh, God. Alright, they can't act like this was the first thing I thought about. Alright, he's still losing his creatures if he blocks, and if he doesn't block, then he's going very low life. Alright, let's just kill Draven here, especially since it's gonna level up. As much as I want to push for damage, I feel like this is more important. You could have Draven's Whirlwind, though, which is a huge punish. But either way, he could have Draven's Whirlwind this if he really wanted to. Which makes me think he doesn't have it, because I feel like this is a pretty good Draven's Whirlwind, guaranteeing the Draven level up as well. Okay. So his board's not as threatening anymore, we did limit some of it. Have him at 7 in deck with no healing, but I am afraid of Jinx and another Draven and stuff like that. Actually, there's a lot of everything. Okay. Alright, well, he had really good cards. I mean, how to say? He had double Jury Rig Flame Chopper for discard fodder. That's extremely powerful for him. Let's hope we can still play out of this pretty crazy stuff that he's done. Alright, so we're still going to fight for board control here. This is actually quite good. He's really running out of resources. We'll block like this. We don't mind taking the extra 1 damage by blocking this over this, because it keeps our Iron Ballista alive. quite powerful. I think it's worth it to keep Iron Ballista alive here, though. We don't draw a card, but... yeah. Yeah, this is good. The only real punish is him having Jinx here. It's not a true punish because they won't get the rocket to kill this turn, but we pretty much win the game unless he has Jinx, I feel. So let's hope he didn't have everything, but... yeah, if you've ever played Draven Jinx, you know that how the story usually goes. Is they usually have Jinx in the end. It's just how it is. Try and go wide to threaten a good open attack. Hope he doesn't have Jinx as his last card. Thank God. Okay. It's very scary. This could also be Augmented Experimenter, so we have to be somewhat careful of that form of punish. But I think we're still going to go for it and develop wide depending on what we draw. Okay, well, think while we're here. So far we're threatening, he has to stop 4 damage, which he can't stop right here. He already used double Jurig, so having a Jurig to stop this isn't that great. If you have Get Excited, okay, I was gonna say, if you have Get Excited, that's not even that good, so we'll probably just open attack here, because that way he plays around Augmented Experimenter, and GG's. Alright, so we're up against a Spider aggro list. This list is extremely aggressive. I think this before runs like Brothers Bond, Fervent Estimate, kind of basic burn aggro, and we're up against another classic aggro. Both these styles are classic aggro. Alright, so before I go into the high field of the matchup, I guess do the mulligan first. So the way I want to mulligan here is that turn 1 we obviously want Precious Pet. Since we're going first, we want to keep Draven because we want to be attacking with Draven on 3. In aggro matchups, usually if you can get a Draven in, they can't block it at all, so this is free 3 damage. I'm going to keep this Precious Pet. This is basically active our 2-drop. If we don't draw a 2-drop, this will be our 2-drop. So even though it costs 1, we can just use it on turn 2. But if we draw another 1-drop, this opens the possibility of opening a 1-drop, double 1-drop into 3-drop. So we have a lot of potential damage output here. Alright. So it actually worked out, as I said. We have the 1-drop here, and then next time we go double 1-drop, and then Draven. This is huge damage output since we're going first. You can't block here. But yeah, this deck is, these are both great examples of classic traditional aggro. Lots of 1-drops. This one has the burn reach, and this one is more of a combat trick. That's the difference. So we're gonna have to take this, but we definitely will block the 1-1, so he doesn't have a blocker for Draven. Yeah, having triple 1-drops is extremely powerful in aggro. This is really good for him, Siege or Elise. His deck is basically Sender on Elise. I've tried this deck. I don't think it's as good as this. I actually tried this last night while I was testing this, like in between. I think this version, this is just a better aggro deck this format right now. That's really good for him because that allows him to have blockers for Draven. So we don't attack with this here because he can just block with Elise. Oh, okay. I'm trying to level the Elise here. Both of us have pretty crazy hands here. I mean, we just did a ton of damage, but he's about to do a ton of damage on us, so it's gonna be extremely scary. He can now, since they have the Challenger, use his 1-drop just to trade with our cards, which is definitely rough for us. Wow. Alright then. That's studying a lot of damage, man. I think we just pass, right?
You hoping they'll die of boredom?
Right? Can't be right. Alright, we'll play Disciple to block this. Or whatever. It all depends on how he attacks, but I want to keep Brothers Bond up to block the Fear Stones, that's all I know.
Everything's in place.
Yeah, I can't really determine what to do with our cards until I see how he hooks for the challengers, so this could go in so many different ways, it really leaves it up to him. Interesting. Alright, this is a good block here. Now for the rest of them. I think we're gonna have to use this defensively here. Block like this. So block like this. Draven decks here.
Time for the moneymakers. Hey, buddy.
Very, very good stuff from him, but overall, should be fine here. We get to kill Elise. Leave with some spiders, and we still have Draven. This should level up Draven. That's oh no, no. This always throws me off that it has this little arrow thing before it's even used its effect. One time. All right. Not bad. We can't really play this here though, which is awkward. All right. If we live one more turn, we win the game. That's just how it's gonna go down. So let's hope we can make it that far.
Axes coming right up.
I'm gonna play a bit conservative here. Actually, I'm down to trade this for one of his cards. Because I just want to stop him from killing us. I'm not too concerned about killing him, because I know we're going to win the second we get Darius out. It's just scary because I know he runs... This person runs Decimate and Fervors and stuff, so... He will have the reach to try and kill us. Alright, that's fine. I think I'm doing some weird stuff. I was thinking about putting the axes on here. Thinking about putting the axes on here just to poke us and draw a card, and then make it have enough defense for Imperial Finishedness. I think I'll do that. Yeah, all we have to do is get this on the field and we win. So, for the defensive game, I don't mind doing stuff like this just so I can draw a card and try and go with more blockers here. That's actually a good draw because we can use this as a defensive spell. But I'm really just afraid of his decimates and stuff like that. Like his deck runs Decimate, Fervor, Doom Beast, yeah, stuff like that. I'm more afraid of his reach through spells than I am of his actual combat. Because we have more blockers than his attackers. He could have anything. I'm thinking he could have... I just want him to have as little amount of spells as possible. Figure Memories, yeah, it's really good for Doom Beast here. Alright, this will be a bit of an overcommitment, but I'm gonna play Darius right here. We could just chill and use Draven's Whirlwind, but they both get rid of one of their attackers, so I might as well play this here. Now, that we can open attack, which gives them one less action to use Decimate next turn. Because if we waited a turn here and then played it... Oh god. And then, well, there's that, that's not what I was thinking about though. But if we waited a turn and then attacked, good chance to Decimate. Kind of scary, man. But this is really good for us if he does this all attack, because if we full block, that means he can't use Noxie and Fervor. So either way, we should be in good shape. The only thing I'm really concerned about is that he's gonna live by 1 HP and then use like Fervor or Decimate to win. We have our own Decimate in our hand, and we know that, so that's good. But... Alright, we're gonna open attack, try and play on Decimate, and hope that he blocks this, and then we can Draven's Whirlwind here. Nice. Alright. I guess we'll play around Unspeakable Horror. And do it like this, instead of playing on Draven to get the axe. This is nice, this plays around. He can still beat us with... Well, Fervor's gonna kill our Nexus, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Right, yeah, we win. We need to open attack player on Decimate. If he had Fervor, we lost no matter what. But I feel like if he had Fervor, he would have used it proactively there on our Nexus, and we could chain Draven's Whirlwind. So, in a way, we played through Decimate and Fervor by open attacking there, so we played through everything. Technically. That's good.